Okay, we talked about the B flat chord and the B chord, the bar chord. B flat here at the first fret and B at the second fret. And we just solely talked about the bar chords. Now I want to give you some alternate chords you can use that will work sometimes, that won't work all the time. And I'm going to give you some of those examples. So one thing we can do for B, let's say, is we can play just the middle 4 strings, play like a power chord. So bottom string's nothing, and then the second fret, 4th fret, 4th fret, and open B string. And now that's just root, 5th, root, root. So there's no third in there, so you can't tell if it's major or minor. But it will work. It'll work in the pinch if you're going in the key of E. Now, the E string can't ring. Now what we could do is we could put our second finger, this is actually ends up being a little bit more difficult, but we put the second finger on this F sharp, and now we have root 5th, root, root 5th. Okay, and that's going to be a little bit more bright than a normal B, like B chord would be this. This one's going to be a little bit more ringy because it has one open string. We're not going to get a lot of open strings. Now if I took off that F sharp and left the E, we'd have a Bsus chord. And a sus chord usually is a sus4, and it wants to be resolved to the third. Okay, and again, this chord would be 2, 4, 4, 0, 0. Has no third, but it has a fourth. It wants to be kind of resolved. You hear that? So, but in the key of E, it doesn't matter because we're in the key of E, we got an E string ringing out, not necessarily a big deal. It creates kind of a drony thing. If you listen to the chords I'm playing here, E, top 2 strings are open. If I play an A2 chord, 0, 2, 2, 0, 0, top 2 strings are open. Play this B chord, 2, 4, 4, 0, 0, top 2 strings are open. If I slide up to C sharp minor 7, if I just slide this B up 2 frets, I get C sharp minor 7, which is sounds like a really complex chord, but it's a pretty simple chord when you play it this way. And that would be 4, 6, 6, 2, 0. So using those chords, and let's say I go up here and play E up here. Okay? And so it's open 6 string, 7, 9, 9, 0, 0. And notice I'm deadening the E string with my thumb here when I'm not playing the E chord. When I'm playing the E chord, it's cool to have that E string ring out. But once I go down to the C sharp minor 7 chord at the 4th fret, I'll bring my thumb over here just to kind of deaden it. And on a regular E chord. So that's one B, and in that context it works. Now, if we were in the key of B, that might not work as well. I mean, there is an E chord in the key of B, but usually we're going to want to hear that third. So one thing we could do is we could have the E and the third in there, the 4 and the 3. And so we play the B bar chord, but instead of barring, we leave the first string open. And I call this a B4, as in before and after. It's a B4 chord. So what it is, it's a B with a 4. Just like a D2 chord is a D with a 2 in it. Okay? A B4 is a B with a 4 added. Okay? So if we're in the key of B, that would also work in the key of E. You could do that. So that is 2 fretwise, 2, 4, 4, 4, 0. But there's some dissonance. That's a lot of dissonance. So it might not work, but sometimes it would work. These are, like I said, there's no substitute for the bar chord, but there's occasionally, well, of course I'm contradicting myself. Yes, there are substitutes for the bar chord, and I'm showing them to you right now. But there's gonna be compromises. In this case, we have the 4th and the 3rd ringing out together. In this version, we had no 3rd at all. In this one, we have a 4th, a sus chord, and no 3rd. Another one we could do is you take an E chord, and a lot of you have done this one. This is nothing new for a lot of you, and just go up to the 7th fret, put your first finger on the 7th fret, and that's also another B4 chord. Okay, fret numbers are 7, 9, 9, 8, 0, 0. And there's that E again ringing out. Okay, so that's kind of a cool voicing. You can even just slide it down 2 frets and get an A2 chord. Okay, so that would be an alternate voicing for B. Now, we could also go like that, and we wouldn't have a root. Now we have just a B chord, but the F sharp is in the bass, not a B flat. We could bring the F or the thumb around and get all of them that way. But this way we have fret-wise, it's 9, 9, 8, not starting on the 5th string, 9, 9, 8, 0, 7. So we have the third. We have this right there. We have the D sharp. That one could work sometimes too, or we could just do this one and not play the 6th string. Just slide that E chord right up. What are some other Bs? Not a whole lot of them to be found. Not using open strings. We really only have one string, the B string, that actually is in the B chord, and then we've been using this E. Let's see. Now I could do a B flat 2 chord. And that would be B. I'm sorry, did I say B flat 2? A B2 chord, a BB, but we take off the pinky, and then so since the pinky's not being used, we can sub out the 3rd finger for the 2nd finger, the pinky for the 3rd finger, and then we have B. It's a B2 chord. Okay, so that would be another possible one you could do in the key of E, maybe. Again, no substitute for actually learning the real bar chord and getting those down. But I understand it takes some time, and that's kind of, part of the reason I'm showing you this, so that you have something you can use in the meantime while you're working on the B chord. If you need to have a B chord for a song you're playing at church or in a coffee house or something like that, you've got something. Or if you're just writing or whatever, and you want to have something you can go to that will represent B. Okay. Now the other way we can get rid of B is that we can capo. If I capo if the song's in the key of E, we've got E, A, B, C sharp minor. Those are the 1, 4, 5, and 6 chords. If I capo at the 2nd fret, then my E chord is going to be a D shape. The A chord is going to be the G shape. The B chord is going to be the A shape, and the C sharp minor chord is going to be the B minor chord. So, this is like an A chord. I can do everything I would do to an A chord. I can do to this B chord, and so it's kind of like I'm playing in the key of D, and it's much more ringy than if I was playing in the key of E. If I were playing in the key of B and I was playing here, we'd have B. Here's the 4 chord, the E. Here's the 5 chord, the F sharp, and the 6th chord would be G sharp minor, which would be here. It'd be kind of like playing an F sharp minor chord. Now, just so you know, when I'm capoing, I'm not thinking that this is an A chord. I know this is a B chord. I can look at my neck and see that this is a B chord. Talked about that before. You might want to check out some of the videos I did on capoing. I don't transpose. I know my fretboard well enough that no matter where I throw my capo, not only can I play any chord, I can also sight read. I can actually play music and read it correctly. In fact, it would be harder for me to transpose. It's easier for me just to go, oh, okay, we're up here. I know this is a C note, this is a D note, E, and so forth. And so in this case, this is my B chord, this is my F sharp chord, and here's my E chord. Another place we can capo, just got a couple seconds left. Another place I can capo is up here at the 4th fret, and now my B flat or my B chords are right here. The G shape. Gotta love that. So the 1 chord is G, 2 chord is, I mean the 2 chord would be like an A minor, the 4 chord would be a C shape, and the 5 chord would be a D shape. So that's B right there. Okay, back down to the 2nd fret. Down to open position. Now I could also capo at the 7th fret, play E shapes, but I like to try to keep the capo as low down the fretboard as possible, unless I'm going for an effect up here in the higher frets. So that's just some alternatives to playing a B chord, and I hope it helps, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless you. Bye-bye.